everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight at Crescent Coast in the Kitchen for our January edition. We're cooking up some of our winter favorite dishes tonight. And of course, for the winter, it has to be homemade soup and some homemade bread. So here is my wonderful team member, April, and I am Lane. And normally we have Megan. We're the Crescent Coast real estate experts. Megan is off taking a class tonight, becoming even more of an expert. So you will be in the hands of me and April tonight. Again, thank you for joining us. In a few minutes, we're also going to have our guest, Portia Smith, who's a local designer, and she's going to join us and share some tips and tricks about designing your coastal home. So I'm going to make popovers tonight. And it was kind of funny because I made just some popovers for my family a couple of weeks ago, and I posted them on Facebook. And I got such a strong response. Evidently, a lot of people got popover pans for Christmas, right? And so I was like, oh, I guess it's what people are doing during the pandemic, right?
I made popovers. I put them in a cupcake pan.
Yeah.
I needed a popover pan.
Yeah. Well, of course, it'll work in a cupcake pan. But that's the funniest thing. It was how the popovers. That's not really.
For you and me both to make them, not even realize that it must be a trend.
I know. So, and I guess so when the pandemic first started, a lot of people were making sourdough bread, including me, and I hadn't made sourdough bread in 15 years. So So that was last year. Now it's popovers. And let's hope it's the end of pandemic popovers. And of course, to go with popovers, we have a homemade soup. So what are you making for us?
I'm making a stuffed pepper soup. So it's just like the stuffed peppers you typically make. They're a little bit more time consuming than this soup is, so it's an easier version, maybe like a weeknight meal. And people like my husband who doesn't necessarily like peppers, he doesn't like to cut into a whole pepper.
Yeah.
This is already chopped up and they get pretty soft, so it might be something that maybe someone that doesn't typically like peppers may like more. So it's a good thing to maybe ease them into peppers.
Yeah, and so healthy too.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing all the ingredients over there, and you just have all these vegetables.
Not even any butter.
Yeah. How are you
It's my first week with no butter.
I was going to say, I don't think you made a recipe
It's the
without
new
butter.
year. We have to trim up.
Well, there you go. And that's actually a really good segue. Normally we have a dessert, but with respect to people's New Year's resolutions and getting rid of some of those pandemic pounds, we're going to do a salad tonight. So anyway, you'll just learn something easy. We're still drinking wine. So I told you, this is our party. You're coming into our party. You're our guest tonight, and we're just so glad to have you. And we just want you to have a good time. And any questions, just write them in the comments. Oh, and thank you very much to everyone who shared tonight's event. That just really helps it to be brought to people who might really be interested in this. And I already have the drawing set up to win one of our aprons, and we'll be doing that in a little bit too. So actually, to begin with, we're kind of splitting our recipes up. So April, you go ahead.
Yeah, they have different cook times, so we'll kind of go back and forth. All right, so in this pot, this is like a cast iron enameled pot. It's really good for soups. You can stick it in the oven. I'm sure everyone kind of has one at home. But I've just got some olive oil going, heating up in the bottom of this pot. So all I'm going to do to start with is throw in my cut up peppers. I just cut up a green pepper, a yellow pepper, and an orange pepper. If you have a favorite color pepper, feel free. There's no right or wrong. So I'm going to toss those in to the olive oil. It's still heating up, but it's getting there. And then this is an entire onion. This is a bit much onion for me, but so I'm going to put in about half of this. If you like a lot of onion, go for it. But all we're doing is just eyeballing, putting in what you like based on your tastes. And we just need this to soften up a little bit. I'm not going to season it or anything yet. I'm just making sure this is good and hot and this cooks down to just to give it a little bit of caramelization and a little bit of flavor. Someone on Food Network says brown is flavor. I forget who it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. It's like,
so I just want to get these a little bit brown, and like I said, I'm not even using any butter. I'm just getting these coated in olive oil and get them sizzling up, and then we'll finish the rest of the soup. But this is the bulk of it. We just have to brown these onions and peppers, and then we'll brown the meat after this.
perfect.
Yep.
That's so easy. Any of us can do that.
Yeah.
And you can even buy those vegetables cut up in the grocery store. Like if you
Yeah.
have a full work day and you just don't have time.
That's true.
Yeah. So this popover recipe, I just pulled it out one day because we wanted some homemade bread with this soup. And It's just so easy. It's even easier than biscuits. It only has a few ingredients. So we're gonna start with a cup and a half of flour. So this is a half cup measure. So just 3 of these. And they're called popovers, so they just get so puffy. They're very pretty. Okay, and then we've got 3/4 teaspoon salt. And I'll just mix, just go ahead and distribute that together. And actually, I meant to preheat the oven, and I did not. So you want to preheat the oven to 425.
Don't be like us.
I know. Yeah, don't be like, don't do as we do. Do as we say. Let me get this flour out of the way. And then I've already melted 1.5 tablespoons of butter, and I have 1.5 cups of milk at room temperature. And I have 3 eggs at room temperature, and the reason it needs to be at room temperature is when you mix everything together, if your milk or your eggs are cold, it'll clump your butter up. It'll unmelt it. It'll make your butter cold again.
That makes sense,
Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and crack these eggs into a bowl. I was taught to always crack the eggs into a separate bowl from what you're mixing into because you could have a bad egg. I've never had a bad egg. But as soon as I don't do this, I will have a bad egg.
I was making something the other day, and we were using Eggland's Best eggs, and I had 2 back-to-back twin eggs.
Oh, that's cool.
2!
That was your lucky sign.
I told Donnie we needed to play the lottery right then.
Well,
That was our lucky.
and you obviously did it because you're still here tonight.
Yeah, I know. I rarely get twin eggs, much less 2 back-to-back.
So I went on vacation. It's been about 5 years while I was on vacation with my 3 kids down in Kiowa Island. We bought a dozen eggs. 9 of those eggs were double yolk. So I was like, well,
That's crazy.
that was a nice little, a good sign. And I've actually never gotten double yolks before or since. So you're just
when
lucky.
you get double yolks, you get them in multiples, evidently.
Evidently so. Those are some happy chickens.
Yeah.
So just putting that in there. I put the, you saw me put the butter into the egg first, but you don't have to. You can mix it in any order. Like I said, just make sure your milk and your eggs are room temperature so it doesn't cause your melted butter to clump up. But that's it. That is it. That is homemade bread right there. So, and you notice that I'm mixing it in a mixing bowl that has a spout because this is a liquidy batter, and this way I can just pour it right into my popover pan. And I'm going to show you, evidently half of you out there got popover pans for Christmas. But in case you're not one of the ones who did, this is what a popover pan looks like. It's like a cupcake pan, but they're skinnier. And that way, yeah, it kind of lets them kind of climb the walls and be tall as opposed to wide. And like April said, I mean, she did it with cupcake pans. How was that?
It was fine, yeah. They definitely puffed up, but I saw yours and yours puffed up more than mine.
Yeah.
Because they were skinnier and so more went off the top versus the cupcake kind of just goes out and then there's not enough to really pop up by the time it's finished.
It still
cooking.
tasted great though.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't affect the taste really, probably.
Yeah, so if you want to try this and you don't have a popover
Make sure
pan
you like
yet,
them first.
yeah, make sure you like them first.
Before you invest in a popover
Yeah.
pan. Are you gonna, is that a non-stick popover?
Yeah, and I will say, I'm glad you said that because this is a non-stick popover pan, so I have not
Can
had.
they hear us over the sizzling?
I know. You're always making so much noise between your sizzling and last time the mixer.
Yeah.
And it's like, my goodness.
True. We're sizzling over here. Don't feel like you have to babysit the peppers as much as I am. We're just standing here, so I am. You can put them on lower. I just got them on high, so this will be finished.
Yeah.
So what were you saying
Alright.
about your pan being
Okay, so
non-stick?
it's a non-stick pan, so I don't have to grease my pan. If yours is not non-stick, you probably want to use a little sprayed vegetable oil, or even butter it. If you just something so that your popovers won't stick.
And it's got butter in the...
There's a lot of butter in that. Like I never grease my cookie sheets because cookies have so much butter in them. You don't need to; they just let go on their own. And so you just all you do is you fill these up halfway. You only have to fill them halfway. of dripping over here, but that's all right. It's the
Yeah, it
kitchen.
can be messy.
Yeah. Superman is my husband, so he comes in here and he just cleans up after. So. But he says he doesn't mind because he likes to eat what I cook.
Well, secretly, Donnie cut my peppers and onions for me because I don't like to chop.
See, there you go.
I said, chop them for me so they look pretty, because if I chopped them, they would not have looked uniform at all.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? That's what I do, whether you're a real estate team or a cooking team or married team. So here we go. I'm just pouring until it's gone. And I would say this really, like I said, fill it halfway up, but all of these are a little bit more, just a little bit more than halfway. Just
Yeah.
go halfway and then just kind of pour until your batter is used up.
Is it important that they go into a hot oven? Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely needs it. The longer it's preheated,
Yeah.
the better. And
That's how mine were. Like, they had to go into it. I mean, I didn't make exactly popovers. What did I make? I made,
hot cakes.
no,
Oh,
what were they
what?
called? They were the English thing.
Oh, you're talking about Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, but it popped the same. Kind
Yeah,
of.
it
but
is. It's
still
actually
popped.
it's actually the same batter.
Yeah.
Because what happened is Lane made a boo-boo, but that's common in the kitchen. But that's okay because the only way you're not gonna make mistakes is if you sit on the couch and watch TV all day. And so if you're gonna live life, you're gonna make mistakes. So I made the batter for Yorkshire pudding, which is identical to this, but I hate to even admit it.
What did you do?
But I bought my roast rib for Christmas.
Oh, that's right.
And I did not
Remember you
put
said
it, I was unloading groceries, I was so busy, I was working deals on my phone, and I thought I put it in the freezer, and I did not. I put it in the refrigerator. And come Christmas Day,
So sad.
yeah, I was brokenhearted. It's like, cause I looked in the freezer for my beef roast, and it was not there. And
What
people
did
yeah,
you do?
yeah,
What did you end up having? I forget.
well, we ended up doing pasta carbonara.
That's so good though.
Yeah.
What a good save.
Yeah, yeah, but my husband's like, you can make that every Christmas.
Yeah, I'm okay with
But
pasta.
what beef rib and Yorkshire pudding have to do with each other is, you make the beef rib, and then with the drippings in the bottom, you put this popover dough in the bottom of it and put it in the oven. And instead of being little muffin popovers, it's like this big sheet of puffy, warm, beefy goodness.
Thrown out.
So yeah. So anyway, so I had that popover dough still in the oven, and then the next night we had homemade soup, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'll just make popovers.
Yeah.
So there
See,
you go.
I want to make a popover next because I've only had the Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah.
So very
And,
similar.
and my British friend wrote in on Facebook actually, and she even in England, even when they put them in the popover tin,
Yeah.
they still call them Yorkshire puddings.
Mhm.
They don't call them popovers. That's an American thing.
Yeah. Maybe it has to do with the meat versus the butter.
Or just tradition.
Yeah.
Probably just tradition, you know.
All right, so my peppers and onions have cooked down. They're softened, and they're a little bit toasty golden brown. So this is just 80/20 organic beef from Publix. So I'm just going to toss it in the pot. And we're just going to brown that up and try to tear it apart as we cook it down. And all I did was move the peppers and onions to the side. And then you can move the pan over off the heat a little bit too if you want to. But all I'm doing is just cooking, browning up the meat and tearing it apart as it browns. It won't take long. And you just want to be sure you're not burning your peppers and onions while you're doing it. So just try to keep those off the heat a little bit. But the beauty of not having to take them out of the pot is you don't have to dirty up another dish. So you just scoot them over to the side. You don't have to. It's a one pot dinner.
Yeah, less mess is
Mhm.
always good.
Yep.
We don't want to abuse our husbands. Yeah, that's already looking and smelling so good.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that April and I were talking about is this is the perfect time, if you've been thinking about buying a vacation property here in the Myrtle Beach area, this is a very slow time of year when you get past the holidays and it's before spring break. Because when spring breaks start, which is like the last week of March, and then Easter's usually April, from then until Labor Day, most vacation places are booked solid, and it's actually hard to get in and look at the properties. So between now and the end of March, beginning of April. Now is the time to look, because and there's two things going on, and there's another thing that most people don't know about that don't own property here. So just to get in and look at them, first of all, because when something is rented, the renters do not have to let you in. Long-term renters often will, but short-term renters will not. Short and long-term is 6 months or more.
And you can't blame them. They're on vacation.
They're on vacation. If
Yeah.
you're on vacation, do you want somebody intruding on you?
And a lot of places won't even ask renters.
No,
You know.
no. And then there's also 90 days. So past 90 days past the contract date when you're buying something, all rental agreements have to be honored. So like if you decide, say you come down here and you come down here in March, and you manage to get in something and you decide to buy it and you close in April. When you close on it, it's got 90 days of renters. And if you want to rent it, that's a good thing because you'll get that money. It'll go to you because you'll own the property. But if you want to use it for vacation, it will not be available for another 90 days. That's 3 months, and that puts you into August. So the earlier you get here, like come now, like if you're thinking about it.
Right. And it is easier to get in, like Lane said, and if you had, those bookings after 90 days, and you'll still have some summer to enjoy.
Yeah, you sure will.
And they'll try to move them if you definitely want to use it, but they're not going to really have luck moving them because the whole reason they instituted that new law and policy is because renters were, making deposits, and then last minute the property gets sold and they be out of their vacation and they get their money back. But I mean, at that point they want to come on vacation where they want their money back because you can't find anywhere else to rent. So I think it's a great rule.
I do too.
And for most people who are buying oceanfront condos, they actually, are okay with that because they want to rent it out anyway.
Yeah, because it really helps defray your costs. Like it's a way to have a free vacation. If you buy the condo and say you want to, have a beach vacation 4 weeks a year, maybe, you just want to come during the holidays and maybe a week or two during summer. And then you can rent it the rest of the time and that pays your HOA fee and your mortgage interest and your taxes. You may not make money on it,
but that's
free
okay. You don't really
vacation.
want to.
Yeah.
You want to kind of break even to get all the benefits out of it. Just back to cooking. I have cooked that meat all the way through. It's nice and crumbly, so I'm just going to mix it all up with the peppers and the onions. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. But, so now it's all mixed together in the pot. The peppers and the onions and the beef. And it's still on pretty high, so I'm going to turn it down just a hair, but it's already looking pretty delicious. So I've turned that just down to medium. So from here, I'm going to season it and add some tomato so we can get this base of the soup going. So I've got some garlic here. I'm just going to add that in now. If I'd added it in earlier, it may have burned, so I'm just going to do it now. It's up to you on preference on how much garlic you put in.
I make my stuffed peppers with ground turkey, so I'm going to make the soup. It looks fantastically delicious, and I'll use ground turkey.
Yeah, definitely. And Donnie and I actually really like ground chicken.
Oh, I've never tried that.
But I like ground beef sometimes, and especially just like lemon peppers.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of traditional, but definitely it's good with chicken and turkey. But ground chicken holds flavor really well. We've been using it a lot more than turkey lately because sometimes turkey will dry out like in meatballs and stuff. And chicken is good. Even like chicken burgers. Instead of the turkey. So, but this, if you're used to your traditional stuffed peppers, then you probably want the beef the first time. Maybe after that go with turkey, or unless you're just not a beef eater, then go with the turkey. Okay, and then after this, we're going to add in the seasonings. This is your typical just Italian seasoning mix. I've got some salt, some pepper, some basil, some oregano, a little bit more garlic, just like powder in there. But that's really, just season it to your taste. But definitely throw in those Italian seasonings since we're making stuffed peppers. So just throw those in the pot. Now it smells good.
I was reading our comments, so I'm staring over here. I have a computer off to the side. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and give us a shout out. Yes, hello to Debbie and Trisha, and I don't have my glasses on, and Alan and Amanda and Holly and Rebecca, and like I said, we'll have the drawing a little bit later because I know there's some people on here that have shared, and so they have their names in the drawing. Yeah.
Good. All right, so I've got the seasonings, the peppers, the onions, and the ground beef in here. I'll go over here so you can see me. And that's all sizzling away. So from there, I'm going to add, you can chop up a tomato if you want to, but I really like the fire roasted diced tomatoes. And you could even, if you were feeling fancy for a weeknight soup, you could roast your own tomatoes, but the can works just fine. So fire roasted tomatoes into the pan. And just give that a good stir. And then from here, we're gonna add, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but look how colorful it is. Isn't
That
pretty?
shows well, April.
It's pretty. All right, and so from here, we're just gonna add, just eyeball, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. And you know, this is just giving the soup some body and some depth of flavor, so nothing about this has to be perfect. So in goes the tomato paste. Just give it a good stir so it incorporates in the soup first. And it's still, I've got it on pretty high. I mean, I'm sizzling this away here, so that's okay. But it already looks good. I mean,
It really does.
I
You
could
just eat that.
plate it up right now.
I know, that was fantastic. Smells wonderful. Wish there was like a way we could
Smell-o-vision.
help you. Yeah,
I think
smell-o-vision.
Food Network has been saying that for years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add just a little bit more. Now, I'll tell you in a little bit where to taste it for seasonings and that kind of thing. We'll do it right before we cover and cook the rice, but throw in as much seasoning as you want. All right, so that is just tomato paste, a can of fire roasted tomatoes, peppers of your choice, onions, garlic, and some, I think I said seasonings. So from here, I'm gonna add in, now, have you seen this?
I have not seen that.
Okay, this is my little trick.
Let me see this trick.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone knows about this, but I just
I don't.
recently found out about it. This is concentrated beef broth, and it's all natural. Donnie picked up this one, so it's not the organic one because he never buys organic, and I always do.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's all natural. And so this is concentrated beef broth, which I don't know about you, but like when I used to buy something that called for broth, I'd buy the big broth container, and I'd use half of it, and then the rest of it would sit in the fridge and waste.
Right.
And so this one, we get this one, and then we get the little jars. I usually buy the little jar of organic. It's the same premise, but it's concentrated, and then you just keep this in your fridge, and it lasts longer. It's 2 teaspoons per cup, and you just mix it in hot water. And look at this broth that it makes.
Wow, it looks
Yeah,
it looks legit.
we always cheat it a little bit. We'll always make it a little bit more concentrated than it calls for. But I've used this all the time at home for chicken. In the roasted chicken,
Well, hold it up so they can see
the organic roasted chicken brand. Oh my gosh, it's all in the same spot as the
Where is
chicken
it?
broth.
Where the broths are?
Mhm, yep,
Like
just-
Publix?
Just right to the right of it. Yeah, I mean anywhere. I bought it at Food Lion, Publix,
Oh.
Kroger. You know, it's just right beside the chicken broth.
And just to have that
Yeah.
in your pantry, well, in your refrigerator
Fridge, yeah.
on hand is phenomenal.
And it's so good because, I mean, how many times did you Oh, there we go, we're back. All right.
Okay.
So,
Sorry guys, our camera time's out. We're still low tech.
we don't know why it's times
I
out
know,
with us.
so-
But anyway, right beside the chicken broth are these concentrated broths. So I'm a big fan. I highly recommend them. You stick them in your fridge, and it's broth whenever you need it. You don't have to plan for an entire, container of broth. So I made 4 cups of beef broth. You don't. If you don't want to do beef, you can do chicken or vegetable, something like that. So I'm just pouring this into the soup. It's been bubbling away here for a while now. So I'm pouring in that beef broth. And then all I'm going to do from now is bring this up to a boil. And then once it's ready for a boil, we'll add the rice. But this is the spot where you want to check for seasoning to make sure you like the way this tastes, because this will be a direct replica of how it'll taste once the rice is done. And you might even want it to go a little heavy, because once the rice will soak up a lot of your seasoning as well. So once this gets up to a boil, we'll do a quick taste, make sure it tastes good. We'll throw in the rice, put it on the pot, and then we'll be ready to eat in 20 minutes.
Awesome. And now our guest Portia is going to join us. Portia, come on up, sweetie. You can bring your wine. We've got entertaining going on over here. So this is Portia Smith, and she is the owner of Pink Sheep Interior. She's so she's been in Polly's for a little while, but she actually is she's moving her store into the Market Common on Iris Street, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So she has she has years of experience in design, and so tell us about your shop just real briefly, and then tell us some tips and tricks about how to design our coastal home.
Well, yeah, so I moved in last week, and I'm still in the process of getting everything perfect. Got some new merchandise coming in this week, so hopefully I'll have a soft opening probably middle of February, and then I'll do a grand opening probably second week of March.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I will Facebook that, Instagram that, let everybody know when that's going to happen. But there's a lot of moving parts to getting it done. But I just felt it was time to kind of go out on my own, and my concept is I want people to be able to come into my shop and just have a really nice, warm, comfortable experience of shopping as if you were coming to your own home and picking out things that are beautiful like your home and just saying, you know, oh, I'd love to have this, just to add a little touch to something that you may already have. So I sell a lot of new home decor, but I also sell some refurbished furniture and pillows and throws and candles and all those things that just make a house a home.
And
So,
she gives great suggestions on how to incorporate that.
And what's your store called?
Pink Sheep Interiors. So, and everyone always says, where did you kind of get that from? So just a little backstory on that. I've always kind of considered myself to be different, but in a more beautiful, vibrant way. So that's where the pink sheep comes from. It's
So it's a
unique.
black sheep, pink sheep.
Exactly. Exactly. Because even black sheep, they always think of that as a negative term.
Yeah.
And it really
Yes, it
isn't.
is.
It's kind of
Yeah.
just the person that kind of stands out a little bit more. But I like to think of myself as somebody that stands out more in color.
Yeah.
But I like to decorate in more of a style of just unique things that maybe that you wouldn't find everywhere else, so that it's just, you know, when you decorate your home, you want pieces that reflect you, that are special finds. Like earlier when I came into Lane's beautiful home, and I was asking her about different pieces that she'd gotten through her travels. I like to have a home that looks, you know, well traveled,
Yeah,
very eclectic.
right.
So that's kind of where Pink Sheep comes from, and kind of a touch on myself as well. So different,
Like
unique,
it, yeah.
unexpected sort of, that sort of idea. Yeah.
I love
So
that thing.
so I'm moving to Market Common. I'm really excited about it. I will be 3 doors down from a wine shop,
Yes.
Coastal Vino.
Yeah.
So you guys can stop there, you
And near
know,
the dog groomer, which
and
is
I-
very convenient.
and near the dog groomer.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
And I will
exactly.
say, we're having our client appreciation party March 13th, and it's going to be combining Coastal Vino and Pink Sheep Interior. So you will be hearing more of this and seeing more of this. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So
Very good.
that's that. But when you were talking about decorating for your coastal homes, you know, decorating is one of those things that it's very, I would say it's very intimate and different for every person. So it's good to be a designer, but also it can be very stressful. There are times where you walk into someone's home and they immediately say, "What do you think about my house?"
No.
You know, and I always
Stress
say,
for you.
and I always
about that. That's a lot of stress for you.
I'm like, well, I think your home is lovely
Yes,
because it's your
you want me
home.
to say.
Yeah.
You know, I
think good.
really came to drink it. I really didn't want to work.
Right. It's
I never thought about that from your perspective, and that's totally true. Oh,
But I am
gosh.
food motivated, so here.
That's right.
Lane said, "Come, you can eat," and I said, "Okay," and I'll talk about some stuff. I'll make some stuff up. But no, I think when people take the time to find things in their home that reflect them, I think it's important and it's beautiful to them. My job and I think my experience come into where maybe sometimes people have too many of one thing, and it's a good reflection of them, but it needs to be maybe scaled down or maybe presented in a different way. And that's
Yeah.
what I kind of help people do. But I never want to come into someone's home and say, you know, I don't like it, because it's
No,
it may
that's not
be
even that. It's
Yeah,
not even
it's
that.
not even my style. It may not be
Yeah,
my style,
yeah,
but
they'll appreciate it.
So
Exactly.
one thing that you know, some viewers can relate to, and that April and I definitely can. So this, we have plenty of clients who are South Carolina
Can I
natives.
just tell you, I'm going to add the rice now. So
Oh,
this
awesome.
is boiling. I'm adding the rice. From here, you just got to cover this and do not touch it. You know how Southerners and their rice are. You throw it in the pot, you stir it around, you cover it, and you don't open it again until it's ready. So that is done. I'm going to turn it on just slightly lower than it's on now. Just on like a medium, low heat kind of thing. Put it on. Don't let anybody come near it because the rice has got to stay.
Amen, sister. I hate when people mess with my rice. And I'll just say, I put the popovers in the oven. You close that door,
leave it.
Don't
and you
touch it.
yeah, it's 30
Set it and
minutes.
forget it.
Do not touch it or your popovers will fall. But so now April and I have plenty of native southern clients, but we also, this being a vacation area, we have, and retirement area, we have so many people coming from Pennsylvania and New York and Chicago. And so like, and lots of times that, many times they're retiring, they're usually downsizing, but just what's some general advice that you have?
So one thing I've noticed since I've come down here to the low country is a lot of people generally come from up north. There is a more traditional style of furniture and a heavier style of furniture. A lot of dark woods, a lot of darker colors, you know, your burgundies, your moss greens, you know, your blacks, and then you know, people want to, they've invested money into a lot of the things that they have, and they want to bring these things with them. One of the biggest mistakes that homeowners make is they don't measure. And so
Take out that measuring tape.
that is imperative when you go buy a new house. When I moved to the beach, the first thing I did is ask for the square footage, and I designed my home around my house as opposed to thinking about everything that I wanted to take from up north to bring down.
All right, wait,
That's huge.
catch that.
Yeah.
We really want you to catch that. Think about the home, buy the home that you like where it is, you like the light, and you like the bones.
Yes.
And then you choose what to bring into your home based on that, versus the opposite where you have all this stuff that you're trying to cram into where you're going.
Unless you want us to sell it for you in a couple years.
Yeah. Which we can definitely do. Yeah. There's plenty of great consignment shops down in the Myrtle Beach, Pawleys, Merle's Inlet area
They
right
really
now.
are
That and for that reason, I'm thinking I wasn't smart enough to. That's a business I should have got into, was the consignment business, but. You know, everybody, I think, comes down and they are very connected to their things. But I think in life, too, I think it's kind of an interesting concept that when you're moving, you're looking to make a change.
Yes.
So in the idea of doing so, make that change internally in your home as well as emotionally, physically, all of those things.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So measure out your house and know that there are going to be pieces that are just not going to fit. And rather than spending $2,000 or $3,000 and putting them on a U-Haul, you know, invest that money into maybe buying new drapery for your new home or upgrade your flooring. A lot of times people come down and they see a spec house, or they'll see the house that the realtor will show them, and it has all the bells and whistles. But then what they can afford versus what, you know, the model home is completely different. But I tell you, if you keep some of those pieces back or sell them off to somebody else that stays up north that would love to have them, then you can invest that money into, you know,
Giving your house
upgrading.
some character.
Absolutely, giving your house some character towards the crown molding or wainscoting or all those different things that
And
just.
she can help with that.
I
You
can
don't
do
have to do it on
that.
your own.
Which won't make your house so flat, and it won't make your house look like everybody else's, you know?
Right.
Especially when you're coming to a new community where, you know, the houses are being built very quickly. You have to do a lot to give your house character sometimes if it's not a custom build.
Yeah, and if it's an older home, it's no different. I mean, Myrtle Beach, you know, it's Pawleys Island and Merle's Inlet and Cherry Grove and Little River and Myrtle Beach. There, we have historic homes here too, or just older housing stock, and sometimes that needs your loving care
Especially
too.
close to the beach.
Especially, the weather's hard on the outside of a home. But, and even if, so, and usually people are downsizing, like you probably aren't gonna need your formal dining room suite or your baby grand.
Right.
But, yeah, and let's say you don't wanna bring any furniture. To Portia's point, the consignment shops, you can replace it for way less than what you can sell it for and not pay for in moving, just to think
Because
about
I can guarantee you that you're not going to want probably 50% of what you would bring down. I mean, the whole colors change, you know,
Because when you
everything's
get-
a lot lighter.
Yeah, when you get down here and you go in the stores, you're like, oh, I want to be beachy now.
Yes, exactly, and or coastal, you know. But one thing I wanted to say when you were talking about that was the idea that you were talking about dining room sets. So the place that I purchased has a very small kitchen, which anybody knows me knows that I don't cook, so it's totally fine. I don't use my kitchen for cooking, but I knew that I wanted to spend the majority of my time outside.
Yes.
So I didn't even invest in wanting to worry about a big kitchen or a big dining room. I wanted to put my money into a large yard and use my yard for entertaining. And there, you know, a lot of people don't think about that, but that's a whole nother level of design that people don't think about.
Especially in the South.
Exactly,
The weather's good.
exactly.
It must have happened.
Yeah. I mean, our winters are so mild. Like,
Get a
it's
heater.
nice.
Yeah.
I have a friend who is in Marco Island, and she made a comment to me once about when people design houses, and the company that she works for, I'm gonna get this wrong now, but they talk about designing from the front door to the back door.
Oh.
And so I thought that was very interesting, because a lot of people think, well, they move into a house and like, well, I just want to do this room, I just want to do that room. But, you know, people really you have to start thinking about what you want people to see when they walk up into your home,
Yeah.
as opposed to when they get out of the car, actually, to the front yard, into the home, into the back of the house. So there's a lot of space to think about decorating, and being in a climate that we're at now, where it's warm, we do a lot more entertainment. Like today, it was beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
it was almost in the 50s today, so you
Yeah.
could literally sit outside and
Yeah.
start a fire and have dinner out and barbecue.
We do that a lot. I mean, it's January,
Yes.
and we can eat outside. We just
Yeah.
put out, we put on a space heater or do the bonfire,
Yeah.
and we're eating and drinking outside.
Some of April soup, a little bit
Yeah.
of whiskey.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You can see out there all night.
That's right. She's our whiskey drinker. She's our connoisseur.
You can see out there all night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
What about reupholstering furniture? Is it ever worth it usually?
it is sometimes.
Okay.
I think that so two things. I think if it's a family heirloom that's been around for a very long time and it's extremely sentimental, then it's important to do so, because you want to hold on to integrity of the frame of the furniture, and there's a history behind it.
Sure.
But if you bought something that lasts, you know, I would say even 20 years, and you know, your dog just ripped it up and you really like it, you're better off just buying a new piece. Because furniture today it's more cost effective to go out and buy a new piece.
Okay.
And believe it or not, furniture doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
Like it used to, you know.
Right.
So you're better off just getting, you know, just another piece. But yeah,
Okay.
it depends on I think it
Just
depends on the
wondered.
piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a lot of clients who say, you know, I want to, you know, come down and redo all my furniture, and I'm just thinking to myself, it probably would be cheaper to not move it and then just
Yeah.
buy something new.
Yeah, and again, and if you have a certain, you know, like fabric in mind, or I had a friend of mine that lives in my development that has these beautiful chairs that kind of were passed down, and when I came to Lane's today, I just spotted out a couple pieces I really like, and I just love furniture, and it sounds weird, but I love.
That's her line of work. That's why, yeah, we love real estate, and you love furniture.
I love furniture. Like
Yeah.
I love to feel the wood and the grain of the wood and see
Yeah.
how it's made. That's exciting to me. But
Yeah.
so I saw these chairs and I thought, oh my God, these chairs are amazing. And she said, oh my God, if I told you the story, these have been my family for so long, and I had them reupholstered.
You
That
did
was
it.
a situation
Yeah.
where they needed to be.
Mhm.
And she kept them in its integrity, but she just added a new fabric to them.
Yeah.
And so yeah, sometimes that can be done.
Yeah, so in that case, reupholster, but otherwise, just it's better to leave
Move
it.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
move on, and Portia mentioned colors too. Like you come down here, and the light is different. Like things just sort of look different,
It's
and
sunnier more.
it's sunnier. It's sunnier
Yes,
more.
yeah.
And so you're gonna want lighter colors.
You want your grays, you want your neutrals, you want bright colors, you know, you want your pink.
And aqua, I mean, things
Yes.
that you would never, because like I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota for 8 years, and I lived in St. Louis, Missouri for 9 years. And I'm originally from North Carolina, and now I'm here in South Carolina. And it's a completely different vibe. Like when you're in those colder climates, you want those snugglier colors. But when you're down here, I mean, it's as cold as it ever gets, it's 55 degrees. You know,
Yeah.
you want everything like aqua and
What's the same with like, when you're talking about with food, so now we're getting
Yeah.
into the season
food,
of,
yeah.
the comfort foods. Because
Yes.
this is the time of year where you're just wanting to be in sweatpants and you want to be comfortable. So you tend to eat a little bit heavier. So you're trying to find good foods that are comforting, but not pack on the calories. But
Right.
the same thing goes with design. You know, it's been a little bit tougher, I would say, with having to decorate in the winter here, because
interesting.
you
Okay.
still want to have that coziness.
Yeah.
But you know, when you think of like, you know, a comforter, or you think about like a throw or a faux
It
fur,
can be too heavy.
it could be a little bit too heavy. So that could be challenging sometimes. So
I love whites for
I-
places down here.
yes.
Whites and like beachy gray.
And I was gonna say, so
Yeah.
you can still do something like that,
Yeah.
like do a throw, but even in a faux fur, and just do it like in a light color, like a white or like a gray.
I actually have
Just
that.
neutral.
I actually have that. Like I have my faux furs that I was using in St. Louis, and they're too heavy here
Yes.
and too dark.
Yes.
And so I have some lighter colored and lighter weight little fur throws.
Yes.
Especially little fur throws.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
everybody needs a phone. If you
Everybody
don't have one, go out and get one,
Yeah.
and you can come get them at Pink Sheep and
Aw.
Come into your neighborhood store.
We said all of that.
I love that. I love that. Well, so thank you for your tips and tricks, and Miss April and I are
Yes.
gonna finish up cooking.
Sounds good, thanks guys.
That's
Okay.
our voice, yeah.
Can't wait to eat it.
So, all right, so we've got 13 more minutes on the popovers. I'm gonna bring out my salad stuff.
Okay.
And actually, Donnie, I need you, well, why don't you stir, show them, oh, you can't open it. Let me pull out the salad stuff.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, okay.
We're not opening mine.
No, that's right,
Yeah.
do not take
Do
the
not
top off
stir.
the rice when you start it.
Mhm.
It's not Uncle Ben's, it's the real thing. Is that it? Yep. Okay. All right. So in the interest of eating healthier, once a week, I make a really simple salad for myself and Dean, my husband, and we just kind of eat it all week. And I make a homemade dressing because we like homemade better. It's so, well, I'll cover that in a minute. So I just,
chickpeas.
yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
Love chickpeas.
So I just do my salad mix and my greens mix, and we like romaine lettuce, and I'll grate some carrot into it. And actually, if I have arugula, I'll put that in there too. I don't have it. And the summer, when I have fresh basil and fresh parsley in my garden,
Yeah.
I'll use that.
Have you planted those yet here?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll
Too
do
cold
this.
still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still. I'll do. Well, the plants aren't even in the storage, and I do plants. I don't do seeds because seeds don't come up for me. So, and then yeah.
Your amaryllis is good though.
Yeah,
Amarylli?
yeah, no, my paper white narcissus.
Paper white. That's it.
And so, and then we just like, you can put in a salad whatever you like.
There's no
And
right
so I've got some nice halved
Thank you.
grape tomatoes. And then we like cucumber. And then
Yum.
and then as April was just noting, I like to do chickpeas,
Love chickpeas.
right? And so we call them chickpeas and
Garbanzo beans.
garbanzo, like the Spanish word is garbanzo, and then the Italian word is ceci. They do a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ceci, yeah.
Ceci.
So, and I just drain them. It's just a can, and we just like them. They almost taste. If you're a native Southerner, you'll understand when I tell you if you haven't had chickpeas before, they kind of taste like boiled peanuts a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried? This is also good, but have you ever tried to make cookie dough out of them?
I have not.
They're pretty good.
Okay, I believe that.
No.
But I've roasted them in the oven with salt,
Yeah.
pepper, and olive oil, and they are very nice.
Just out like this.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
yep. And they are very nice snacking.
They're a little crunchy, which makes them nice.
Which I like that.
Mhm.
And so here you have just so this is together. It's our week's eating. Don't dress it because if you dress it, the salad wilts. Now, something I did want to share with you because it's such a practical tip. I don't even know how long ago. I was in my early 30s, I think, and I started making homemade salad dressing, and I've never bought salad dressing since. And that sounds hard, but it's so much less expensive because a bottle of salad dressing is like $5, and the ingredients make salad dressing is like 36
Sugar.
cents. Yes, 36. Yeah, it's a lot of sugar, more salt. Then you want some salt, but not that much. And then you see the ingredients, you can't even pronounce them.
Yeah.
So it's healthier and it's less expensive and it's just delicious.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
You throw in like 3 or 4 things and you're done.
Well, yeah, it's like, and I was saying, like, my husband wasn't that crazy about salads, but he likes this salad dressing so much that he's very,
Wait
like,
a minute. Is he
Yeah.
like you? Or is it a salad dressing?
yeah, well, a little bit of both. So nothing fancy here. So we've got the bottle of olive oil here.
You have to have a jar. It's the big thing, right?
Yeah. Well, and all right, here's I actually keep this on my calendar, on my counter with my olive oil and my salt, pepper. This is my balsamic dressing. I just check it up and it's always ready. Like, it's just a condiment that we have in our house the way you even have ketchup and mustard in your refrigerator.
Throw that on anything.
You really can throw it on anything, like green beans or something. Oh, it's great. So this is what you need to know. You can make any amount. So the ratio of oil is 2 to 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, and you can use any vinegar you want, and you can use any oil you want.
Yeah.
So, right, so, but what I generally do is olive oil and balsamic, and all you have to do is look at it. So I just, you pour any amount in, you don't have to measure. So when it gets to where the vinegar is about 1/3 of what's in there, that's the right amount. You just eyeball it. We're talking about
It has
eyeballing
to be
it.
perfect. And
Okay.
if it's not right, just add a little more and
Yeah.
shake it up again.
Dijon mustard is the emulsifier. What that means is, you know, olive, like oil and vinegar don't mix really. I mean, you can shake it up and use it right away, and it's fine. But if you want it to stay together, you just add a little bit of Dijon mustard. Again, I don't measure. If you're making a whole bunch, I guess you could toss in a spoonful, and then salt and pepper. And this is all there is to it, people. I just do. And now this is the seasoning for your salad greens. So you do want a decent amount of salt, but again, I just eyeball it. That was about a third of a teaspoon, something like that. And then we like fresh ground pepper. Just grind some of that in there. If you love lots of pepper, just keep grinding until your
And then you can
arm
use
is
more on your
tired.
salad.
You can always put more in your salad. You put the top on, and you shake it up, and that is it. That is truly all there is to it. And so as long as you keep your basic ingredients in your refrigerator, you always have salad dressing. So now you know to always have the beef, or to have the broth base in your refrigerator, right? Always have Dijon mustard, and you're always gonna have some kind of vinegar and some kind of oil, right?
Yeah.
Because you could do it with
Rice
vegetable.
wine.
You could do it with
Red
rice
wine,
wine vinegar.
yeah, red wine.
You could do it with any kind, like
Apple cider.
yeah, any vinegar, apple cider vinegar, rice wine vinegar.
Sometimes I
Champagne
do
vinegar.
apple cider and honey together.
Yeah, and you can always taste it too if you want it a little
Yeah.
sweeter. You can just make it. And I know there are dressings that require a lot more ingredients, a lot more
Yeah, they
effort,
do.
but that's not our go-to every day.
Right.
So there you go.
Well, if it's simple, you're more likely to stick to it. Otherwise, you might get a takeout.
I know, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Right? Just like make it easy on yourself. Yeah.
I think the other real estate item we were talking about was HOAs, taxes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And actually, all this came from a conversation I had on the phone the other day with a lead. Came through, and he was asking questions. Most people who call in don't know everything there is to know about a vacation rental. They've just seen us on HGTV, or they just know they will have some money they want to invest, or they have been coming here for years and they want a place to vacation that might make them some money.
HOA stands for Homeowners Association, HOA, and you got it. If you come down here, you will be paying an HOA fee.
More than likely.
Period.
And we
Yeah.
have a lot of people that
Yeah.
say, I don't want HOA. And I mean, that's up for debate, but usually HOA will take care of things and keep your property values high. And sometimes you'll get some utilities in there. But if you're talking oceanfront, you're gonna have an HOA. If you're talking single family home, it's maybe not, usually so. But definitely on the coast, the
the
oceanfront
coast,
side,
you
near
have
the
to.
ocean, typically you're gonna have one. And depends on whether that covers your insurance on the exterior building or not. You need to ask your realtor, hey, does this cover? What does this HOA cover? Sometimes it can cover a lot of utilities, sometimes it can cover the electric inside your condo, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can cover absolutely everything, water, sewer, cable, internet, high-speed internet. You know, these are questions that you need to ask, because just saying, you know, the HOA is X doesn't tell you a lot about what the HOA is. The other thing is you want to see what's in the reserves with the HOA. Are there assessments upcoming? Are there not? Maybe the HOA is only $200 a month, and you're like, whoa, what a deal. But it doesn't cover the exterior insurance. It doesn't cover electric. It doesn't cover internet, cable. So then you've got to tack all that onto your monthly cost. So that's
Rely on your realtor. You absolutely 100% want a buyer's agent down here. You've got to have somebody that's looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, so those are the HOA parts. Then you've got property taxes. And so we'll help you figure out what those will be basically roughly on your property. Then after that, we'll help you figure out what expenses aren't covered in the HOA after the taxes. And then after all those are figured out, then we talk about the rental potential of the property. And then you have a property management fee to pay. So you've got HOA that covers the property. And then if you decide to rent it out and have property management take care of it, then you'll be paying usually a percentage of what the property takes in gross income to pay for the rental management part. Those are two separate things.
Two separate things, and so, and along with that, like some people want to do like VRBO, vacation rental by owner, or Airbnb, and you want to
Yeah.
manage it yourself.
That's
Well, then
great.
you wouldn't have a rental management
You
company.
may have a cleaning company.
But you will, you probably, if you, unless you're local, you're at
Yeah.
least gonna want a cleaning company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's, Portia said off camera, especially with COVID.
Everything needs
You
to
want-
be
yeah.
Essential.
Sparkling.
Yeah,
Right.
sparkling,
But
yes.
regardless, cleaning company, someone to go in if you're out of state doing this. But it's like some people enjoy doing it VRBO on their own, and that's totally fine. You have yourself an electronic lock. You have a cleaning company, but you need to have a cleaning company that can take care of the property as well. That will look, maybe a handyman that comes in every now and then, or you plan to come down every other month or so to eye it yourself. Because, you know, if you're not here looking at it yourself, you may get a bad review sneak in and you don't know why, but you need to set eyes on your property yourself, and or have a handyman there. It's not enough just to have a cleaning person, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you might start out that way, but then you'll, you know,
Depending on how
adjust.
much you get to use it
You'll
yourself.
adjust.
And there's all different types of, cleaning companies, and some will do it all for you, and some won't take care of the
Yeah,
property.
and April and Megan and I, we have a very nice list of people that have, that other clients have
Yeah.
given us very good reviews on, and we keep up with those, so we can provide that
Yeah.
for our clients.
So the good thing about a realtor, when you're thinking about investment property, is we can take all those different facets of expenses, add them together for you, give you an idea of gross rental income based on what others in the building have done or that one has done as a history, and then subtract all those expenses and then give you a bottom line figure of, if you'll be, breaking even, or if there's going to be a lot to pay at the end. So that's an important thing about having a realtor versus not. Otherwise, I don't know how you figure out all that information.
Yeah, there's just gonna be so much, like if you're
Yeah.
not, even if you're from this area, there's just you just don't know what you don't know. And we're in it up to our eyeballs every day. It's like, it's what we do. So you want an advocate, you want someone
Yeah.
on your side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Someone just giving you all the numbers so you have all the information, just point blank, here it is. And then you can compare after that. So like, the thing about vacation rentals is you want it to be a cute place. You want
Yeah.
to have it a place you enjoy, but it also has to work for the budget. So it's a multifaceted situation in that case.
Absolutely.
More than
And-
a home.
And then if you own one and you're ready to sell it, now is the perfect time to sell it, because you probably don't have a renter in there. Although I will say during the
Rentals,
pandemic,
yeah.
I will say that during the pandemic, I have clients that, well, I had listings and they were anticipating we would have fewer renters, but it actually didn't slow down as much, because if you can't
People
travel
are excited to be out now.
Right, and so sometimes you might have to block off a little time so that people can see your property. But now's a really good time to sell, and and we can get that staged for you and get beautiful photographs done, and then all these buyers that for whom it's the perfect time to buy, they can flock in and say, and now it's a great time to sell and a great time to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of our comments. We've got a lot here.
Yeah.
So, Debbie and Tricia, as you said before, Alan Daly says color does equal flavor.
All right, hey Alan.
Amanda Unerly, tell me if I butchered your
yeah,
name.
yeah,
I'm
Unerly.
Sorry.
Thanks, Amanda.
She says she loves our aprons. Thank
She's
you.
on leadership team. Hey,
Okay,
thank
great,
you.
great. Rebecca Thornton said, I love you are doing this with your team member. I always remember your love of cooking. That's sweet.
Oh, we gotta do our drawing.
Yeah, we gotta do a drawing.
You finished that.
Okay. Hi, Portia from Michigan, Judy Pushaw Davy.
Aw.
Perfect.
Here we
go.
are, we're
We're
back.
we're
I don't know why it ended.
Okay, so Portia from Michigan.
Oh, Judy. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
You will need to see Lane when you're ready to buy your house. We'll talk.
Oh, there's a client of mine, Scott. He says hi. See you soon. Hi, Scott. Cindy says hello. You guys look good.
Awesome.
Look at those
Cindy.
puppies.
Oh,
Those are perfect.
nice.
Yeah, here they are.
That's
I'll
all
post
beautiful.
that.
They definitely popped.
Yeah, let me see. Let me
Yeah.
pull them back so they can see.
And I
They
still
smell
didn't eat
good,
today,
too.
so I'm very excited.
Awesome.
I'm hungry.
All right, I've got to do the drawing.
Yeah, okay, you do that. So we've got Alberta
Actually,
Mitchell.
that's where
says
I'm
hello.
at.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Christy Lacer says happy cooking.
Hey,
Thank
Christy,
you.
I'm so glad you're watching. I hope you're
Alan
doing well.
Daly said we lost you, but we came back. William Yates said very exciting.
Hey, Bill.
Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry.
got a lot.
He's on leadership with me. too.
Holly
Look
said
at
my
you.
rule is if it doesn't fit in the car, it's not coming down to the house. Moving from.
Very good.
Yeah, she is a client. She's
Yeah.
an A+ client, and she and I are we're trying to put together a meeting on Friday.
Oh,
Awesome.
good.
She wants a real estate conversation.
Rebecca Law asked if she missed it. If you think you missed it, you can rewatch it later.
Yeah. Well, this will be saved on the Facebook, and it'll also be saved on a page on our website, and we're also going to put it on YouTube. We don't have enough likes and followers like to have our own channel yet, but we're put it in there.
Definitely.
Okay, all right, Portia. This is all
Oh,
mixed
my
up.
goodness gracious.
So everybody has shared and typed done. We put your name on a piece of paper.
All
So
right.
this person wins an apron.
Let's see.
Tammy Dodotsky.
Woo!
I don't see Tammy on here tonight, but I've got to get Tammy's mailing
Yay,
address.
Tammy!
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you.
Good
All
job.
right, so yeah, so
Yeah.
I think
this
I
is
made
what.
minutes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is.
I
So
don't know.
okay. Thank you very much, Tammy, for sharing, and thank you also for everyone else who shared. We really appreciate it. That just
Yeah.
helps more people find us.
And I think our
And,
soup's all done here. So
And
let
we'll
me
be doing
show
this
it.
every month, so you'll have more opportunities to win an apron.
You got a thing? Here's the final picture of the soup. The
Okay.
rice is all
Don't
cooked
burn
through.
yourself.
Can you see it? Maybe. There you go.
Actually, yeah, it's heavy and she's
Yeah.
little.
Yeah. All right.
We almost need,
Looks good, right?
need Donnie. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
How are we doing on time? Because we don't. Yeah.
we're
Okay.
right
Okay.
there.
We have a few minutes.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. And so let me see.
Yeah. Those are
Check-
perfect.
check it out.
Like literally, legit, those are
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Let me do this.
Good job, girls. Good job.
And our hands are clean. So.
So a lot of really good information in just 60 minutes. Look at that.
I know, and it's funny, like, when we first started doing this, it's like, is 60 minutes gonna be too long? We just
It
experimented.
went really fast.
Yeah, we just feel like anything less, we can't
Yeah.
convey enough
No,
information.
I agree. I like the way that you actually can do a complete meal.
Mhm.
For people like me, that's important.
People like me.
So now everybody will know where I'll be every Wednesday night.
That's right.
Off
Well,
camera, I don't care.
happily,
I'll do the
Let me
dishes.
see, let me see. So we've got popovers, we can see that.
Yeah, I can't really
We've
see
got
the
the salad and,
Yeah.
and then, you know what we can do? This. I do have a lot of you watching may see my Facebook posts, and I do have little tricks to help people see stuff in photos. Is that gonna be
I
enough?
think you need more. Put it on top of that handle.
That might be too much.
We want to move the
There you
camera.
go. Yeah, that works.
There we go.
I think
It won't
Donnie might
save
be.
it.
Okay.
Nope, that's all it's gonna do. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an amateur filmer here who's going to try to, just like the amateur announcer who just chimed in.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
So we've got that rice that cooked right and all those delicious vegetables and broth, and that's just a one pot meal. But you know, and the homemade bread, you saw how easy that was. Just those like 4 ingredients, and you put it in a pan, and it jumps up. And then we'll eat all this tonight. But you know, Dean and I will eat off a salad like that all week, whether we have it with a meal or a snack when we get home and we're starving. So yeah.
Well done.
How is it? Yeah, so April's gonna taste it. Don't burn your mouth.
It's hot.
Yeah. And so this is that rice that you just buy in the bag. Like it's
Good.
not minute rice. It's actually very economical.
Jasmine rice.
You got the jasmine rice.
Mhm.
So it's so economical because if you get the Uncle Ben's in the box, that actually for a serving it costs a lot more than if you buy the plain rice in a bag.
It's good.
So you don't even think we don't even think about that.
We have the right amount of salt, but feel free to salt and pepper more. But it's good.
Yeah,
It's
anyway.
good.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. You can still ask questions all you want. And you didn't see any questions, did you, April?
No,
I don't have the
everyone's
glasses on
just
yet.
saying hi to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. And we'll see you
In a month.
next month. We're gonna see you next month will be February 10th, and we'll be cooking up Valentine's Day ideas. So anyway,
Fancy.
so then, stay
All right.
healthy.
Thank you.
Bye.
I burned the shit out of my hands.
Good job, guys. Good job.
When I took the lid off that
Well done.
soup, it just like steam burned me.
Yeah, the steam will get you.